Premium Cuban cigars come in a vast array of brands, shapes and sizes, all created by hand in the island's famed cigar factories. Most of the factories are located among the colourful and historic buildings of Havana, where they have been creating cigars for more than a century. To witness firsthand how an authentic Habanero is made, a visit can be paid to one of the 2 factories that are open to the public. Stepping into one of the factory workrooms is like stepping into a page from a history book. Little has changed here since the early days of cigar making. The air is thick with tradition as hundreds of artisans bend over the work tables, focused on their craft. Each season, the factories receive a production schedule of the different brands and sizes of cigars they will produce. Each brand follows its own recipe of tobacco leaf blends that's drawn up and monitored by a master blender, one of the most important positions a Cuban can have within the factory. Cigar rollers are known as torquedores, and the job sounds deceptively simple: to take the specific combination of leaves dictated by the master blender and roll them into cigars. But in reality, cigar rolling is a painstaking process that demands sure hands and a lot of skill and experience. When a new roller is hired by a factory, he or she must go through a 9-month training period to learn the craft before being allowed to produce cigars for the market. Many say that cigar rolling is more than a skill, it's an art.
You can see one of the biggest cigars that we made in this factory. Very beautiful cigar and very, very difficult to be made. So you need at least like 2 hours to smoke one cigar like this. And look at the shape, like perfect. So this guy is a very skillful roller.
Rollers make their cigars by hand, using only a few basic tools. First, they arrange 2 or 3 binder leaves on their wooden work table. Then they select the appropriate filler leaves, carefully folding and aligning each one. They roll the filler into the binder leaves until they have reached the exact diameter required for that particular cigar. They cut the head of the cigar with a guillotine and place it into a wooden mold that sets the proper shape. The torquedores place the binder and filler onto the wrapper and roll very carefully, using their fingers to stretch and straighten the wrapper. The tension in the leaf must be perfect to ensure a smooth, finished look. The rollers use a tool called a casquillo to cut a small disc from the wrapper leaf. They attach the disc to the end of the cigar using a flavourless vegetable gum. This is known as the cap, and it's used to close off the end of the cigar and secure the wrapper. With that, the cigar is complete. Torquedores typically make between 60 and 150 cigars per day, depending on the size and complexity. They're permitted to take home 2 cigars per shift, which can greatly add to their wages if they choose to sell them. Though the torquedor has now completed his or her task in the cigar-making process, the journey of the Habanero does not end here. Once leaving the rolling tables, they must go through a tough quality control inspection.
This is the quality control area. Here we check every single cigar by hand. We check the ring gauge of the cigars, the length of the cigars. We check the weight of the bundles. They control every cigar, and every person in this room has a number, so in that way we know who made every cigar. So if they have problems with some cigar, and we only have small problems, we call them and then we see what happens.
When the cigars make it through quality control, the torquedor's work is complete. A color grader then takes over.
So here we are sorting the cigar by colors and shades. We have like 8 colors and more than 65 shades. So you need like very good eyes to sort them. And cigars like this one are rejected because you have like more than 1 color, so the presentation is not perfect. So the cigar is rejected in this department.
The last step in the cigar-making process is securing the famous paper bands. Cigar bands were created in the 1860s by a European who, legend has it, wanted to protect the white-gloved fingers of his customers from staining. Today, many consider them collector's items. Now, at last, the cigars are finished. They are placed into the cedar boxes for shipping and sent off to the exclusive network of distributors that Cabaños SA has around the world.